Hi everybody, Amy, Shadow Dragon 1 here. Welcome to Geocache Adventures. Today we're talking to Kelsie Wild, who you may remember from back from Season 3, Episode 9, Geocaching with Kids, a Geocaching Mom Round Table. Thank you so much for
Absolutely. Thank
joining
you
me
for having
today.
me.
Absolutely. So it's been a while since I've gotten to talk to you last, and from the sound of it, you have been very busy.
Always. I mean, even just this last year, we moved
Always.
from Williston, North Dakota, all the way down to Sioux Falls. So, always on the
Oh
move.
wow. That's a big move. So you have been doing a lot of new things in geocaching, from
Yeah.
my understanding. Why don't you maybe kind of summarize what's been new to you, and then we can go in a little more in depth
Um,
after that?
well, I feel like I never physically find geocaches anymore. When I was in Williston, there was only like a mighty four of us in our little geocaching community. So we hosted events for each other and we kind of filled in some of the gaps. But as far as like physical geocaching, it became something I only do only when I travel. So I had to find other avenues to still like love the game and do what I love, but also physical finds weren't a thing. So I got into teaching about geocaching and doing a lot of like introductory geocaching. And it led me to work with like the state park system in North Dakota. I was on the board for the North Dakota Geocaching Association for a year, and I really found love in like working with my community and teaching people about geocaches and literally just revisiting my geocaches but with other people. It's like the magic all over again.
That is awesome. So, how did these geocaching classes kind of start for you?
It started, I did an introductory class with a local coffee shop in Williston. They let me just set up a little kiosk for a couple hours and they advertised, hey, if you want to learn about geocaching, here's the place, here's the time. And I brought all my stuff. I got some fake geocaches set out around this coffee shop before the event started, and then I just walked everybody through like what, how, when, and navigating the geocaching app and signing up, and then we just went out to find these fake geocaches, and I was like, well, there you go, there's the basics. And from there, I got in the door with the North Dakota State Parks and became a volunteer geocaching interpreter. So not only was I their first call when they wanted to teach a geocaching class, but I also got to place their geocaches for them and help them maintain them, but it was on their account and not mine.
Okay. So, your very first class, did you do that part of the Geocaching Association, or did you just say, hey, I want to share geocaching with people and just do it on your own, or how
I
did that come
started
about?
doing it completely on my own just because I wanted something geocaching related to do with the game I love to do.
That's awesome. It's so cool that the coffee shop worked with you and let you do the whole little tutorial
Yep,
and
they even
everything
worked with me a
there.
few times on placing some geocaches around at other coffee shops.
Nice. So, it seems kind of like a big leap from teaching a geocaching 101 class to becoming a geocaching interpreter for the state park system. Like, what kind of, how did that happen?
Honestly, I have no idea. That fell right into my lap. Um, I had just I think I reached out to them and I was like, "Hey, I would love to do like a geocaching event at the state park. I would love to like get more involved in any geocaching. Like I've seen your geocaches. I would love to just offer my expertise." And my friend at the state park nearest to me reached out and his name was Zach and he was like, I love this. I know nothing about geocaches. I've just been placing them all willy nilly. Please come help me.
Oh, so the state park was placing their own geocaches, but not by
Yeah,
anybody
they
who's a
have one
geocacher.
geocaching interpreter based out of central North Dakota. And I mean, she's absolutely phenomenal, but there are 13 state parks across the whole state, and I know she just can't get to all of them.
That's a
Yeah.
lot for one person to travel around and
Yep.
deal with everything. So, when you became the interpreter, did you kind of sort of adopt a lot of the geocaches that they had and help maintain them, or was it more teaching them how to do it, or how
I
does
did a
that
little
work
bit of
exactly?
both. I worked with both Zach and their activities coordinator to teach them about geocaching at first and give them a better idea. I remember I brought them a bunch of geocaches and was like, here's some pretty cool ones that I can't put in my urban setting. This would be fantastic here. And we kind of like went through like what's a geocache, like kind of the basics and how you hide them. And I remember them saying like, "Oh, yeah, I don't hide them very well then." So then it developed with working with the groundskeepers and the event coordinators of like actually going out and maintaining them for them. The North Dakota State Park System has a law that all the geocaches have to be owned and maintained by the state parks. So I never got to adopt any, but I did help work with them one on one on where to place them, how to place them. I had a adventure lab published for them too, and we set up like this really cool bonus cache that goes with it. And of course, the adventure lab's in my name. But I had a lot of fun also being able to go back and find technically my own hides, right?
Yeah, that's nice. Especially since you were in an area for so long where you couldn't really
Right,
find a lot because you
right.
kind of cashed it out.
I felt like a cheater, but I swear it's kosher. Right.
No judgment here. It's all good. So then, as you became this geocaching interpreter, that led to more opportunities for you to spread the word more
Yep.
about geocaching
Yep.
then.
I started working with them at their events. They hosted like a few large events every year, and for the first few years they were like even paying for me to have a table. They were like, "Hey, you have this table at this place, can you make this time?" And so I got to like spend my weekends going out to the state park and teaching about geocaching or any all of them would text me all the time like, "Hey, this one went missing again. What should we do?" And I'm like, "Okay, like I'll be out this weekend and we'll do it." I taught the event coordinator so
Wow.
much about geocaching that she was just like, "I'm sorry, but I'm going to lead this one on my own." Like, "Get it, girl. You got it."
That's
It's a
awesome.
really fun opportunity.
So, it sounds like it. Did you get to see people that, they came to these events and learned about it? Did you see them later on actually being
A little bit.
geocachers?
I usually went to these events and like placed a fake geocache and be like, "Hey, let's go find your first one. Here's the coordinates. Plug them into your map and let's go." And there were a few like friendships you'd make along the way. I just had helped a lady find my geocache, and she was like, "I teach Girl Scouts. Would you be willing to do this again?" And I would love to keep showing my girls how to geocache. So I got the opportunity to do that even for the city of Williston. I got to teach through teaching other women how to, or other people how to geocache at these state parks. Um, it was
That's
really fun. I had a
amazing.
few people actually show up to one of my events, and of course I haven't seen them since. But I mean, just to get people out that had just learned how to geocache to show up to an event, like I felt like those are feats.
Yeah, I mean, just spreading the word more because there's as many geocachers as there are even more people who have no idea what geocaching is, and we look suspicious and odd to those people when we're searching through a bush in the
Oh
middle
yeah.
of the park. So just getting the word out there that this is an activity and this is what's happening in a lot of cases is pretty awesome in its own, and then seeing people actually trying
Right.
it is pretty
I love
cool.
the little sparkle in all the kids' eyes, like when they figure out, oh my gosh, this treasure, what's in it? And then like the adults that are just like, what is this thing that's been happening under my nose this whole time? Like it's so much fun. And then to get to do it again and again and again, it's so much fun.
How many of these geocaching 101 type events have you done? Roughly. I'm sure
Right.
it's hard to
I
count
want to
up with
say
how
at
many
least 15.
exactly.
15 to 20. I
That's
did a
pretty
lot through
good.
the state park system. I did a lot on my own as well, and then a lot through other organizations that I've worked through as well. So I've been really fortunate to, once I mention it, people are like, "What's that? Can you teach it?" Yes, I can teach it, please.
That's awesome. Spreading the word.
Absolutely. And I've even I've gone so far I taught an online class and got some ladies interested, and I even gave them maps. I was like, here's some places I know you live. These would be great places to learn how to geocache and try it for the first time. We even took a group of women, another geocacher and I out of North Dakota took a bunch of women to Gilby this last spring or fall. So we went to Gilby and did the Gilby Geo Tour with a bunch of
Oh,
muggles. And it was so fun for them to be like, "This is geocaching?" And I'm like, "Not really, but yes." You will not be finding a
no,
potato shooter in the middle of your town, but yeah.
that has got to. I mean, as amazing as all those gadget caches are, it almost has to be like the worst place to start geocaching because it has to set your expectations
Yes.
so high when that's what's in your local area, and you go someplace else, and it's like, oh, it's another
Oh yeah.
bison tube
That is
in the
exactly how I
woods.
prefaced my event. We all sat down at this picnic table, and I'm like, first off, I'm glad you're here. Second off, I'm about to teach you about geocaching, and you're about to never like it ever again. And it's my fault because I brought you to the most magical place on earth.
Yeah, you took them to the place that geocachers are dreaming of going, and
Yep.
planning these big trips to go
And I just
experience, and the
we
Disneyland of
started in the
geocaching,
stars.
and that's how you started them out.
We
Wow.
started in the stars. You're only down from here. It's great, but
Oh, that's great.
it was
Oh,
really
that's
fun. I
so
met so
funny.
many women, and they were just like, "I love this. Can we do it again next year?" Like, yeah, sure.
Oh, have to take them to Gilby Gone Wild when
Yes,
it
that's
happens
exactly
again.
what I thought about. I was like, if I didn't know there were so many geocachers around, and it's terrible for newbies to also be navigating these crowds, like we would have done it. It would have happened.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. So, how has your personal geocaching journey changed?
Like I said earlier, it's mostly when I travel these days. Well, of course, now I'm in a new town, so I mean, even that's out the window. But a lot of my personal geocaching these last few years have been as I travel, hike, camp, road trips. It's my husband's a muggle and he can't stand constantly going out and find physical caches, so I've really grown a sweet spot in my heart for earth caches, and virtuals are fun too. Um, and finding those ones that teach you to learn, like kind of teach you something about the area, but
Yes.
also are quick to grab and get the information and get out of there before the muggle even finds out what we're doing. Right? I even
Hey,
got
that
him to
works.
go into Yellowstone one time, and he had no idea till we got to the gate. We were just driving through Idaho, and I was like, "Hey, we're right up to Wyoming. Can we just slide in real quick, get a cache, and come back out? Like it won't be a huge detour." And then as we got closer to the border, you could kind of see the signs, and he's like, "Oh, so we're going to a national park today?" I was like, "Yes, we are. It's a free entry day. There's a cache just a few miles in. Will you just let me grab it?" We ended up detouring 8 hours to drive all of Yellowstone that day. And it made his list.
Wow.
Somebody asked him that year the favorite thing he did that year, and he was like, "Visit Yellowstone National Park." And I'm like, "Geocaching one, husband zero."
Yellowstone is such an amazing place. It, Geocaching aside, it is so gorgeous out there that you could definitely easily take a group of muggles out there with you and grab some
Oh
earth
yeah, we're
caches and
just
stuff
standing at
easily and
Grand
keep them
Prismatic, and it's just
entertained.
like it's beautiful. I'm like, "That's great. I'm just gonna answer this question real quick. Just look over there." But it's absolutely stunning. I would go back in a heartbeat.
Did you see Old
Mhm.
Faithful while you were there?
I didn't get to watch it erupt. It had just erupted before I got there. But I know it was
Oh
I think it
no.
was an hour and a half wait, and I had a kid sleeping in the car, and I was like, I'd rather go.
Yeah, it's kind of a big difference in between
Yep.
when it goes off now. So yeah, I don't blame you there.
Right, next
Next
time.
time.
We're doing it again. I didn't get all the Earth caches. We can go back.
There you go. So in your email, you mentioned your hikes have taken you hiking up peaks now and getting geocaches on
Yes.
these peaks. So I'm guessing those are probably a lot of earth caches, or are you finding some traditionals and
Um,
virtuals that way too?
from the peaks, Earth caches. But of course, with the road trip comes a lot of
Okay.
geocaching in itself, right? Uh, I did
Oh yeah.
for my birthday this last year in September. I went and hiked in the Black Hills, and I did the highest peak in South Dakota. And I went with another geocacher, and we both got to log the Earth cache on the highest peak of South Dakota together. It was pretty fun.
That's awesome. That is one that I don't usually hear about. I usually hear about oldest caches in the state and counties, but highest peak in each state. That would be an interesting
Right.
goal to set for
Right,
yourself
and
to go do.
I mean, at least some of them, the hikes are just gorgeous, gorgeous long, sometimes even secluded hikes. And I've got my eye on a few.
So, what are maybe a couple of the peaks that you're trying to aim for?
Oh, I don't remember their exact names right off the top of my head, but I know my husband and I have looked into going down to Arizona and hiking the highest peak in Arizona. New
Oh,
Mexico is also a contender, and my home state of Virginia as well. Yeah.
nice. So you definitely have
Mhm.
some goals there you're looking at doing. Very cool. And you have recently become, or within the last year or so, you've become involved with Women
Mhm.
Who Explore. Can you tell
Um,
us about that
women
group?
who explore at a local level, which is the level that I work at, or I volunteer for, is a community of women who love the outdoors and love to adventure. And it's just a place to foster a safe space for women to try new things and maybe hike the hike they haven't been wanting, to do alone, or just find a community of women that will take them in wherever you are, meet you where you're at. And I stumbled into this group through geocaching. Um, the state park that I was a volunteer interpreter for, there was an event posted for a Women Who Explore introductory to geocaching. And the vice president of the North Dakota Geocaching Association sent me the link and was like, "Are you in on this? Like, is this you?" And I was like, "Absolutely not." But I've already messaged the lady. Like, I saw it and I'm like, "I'm in. Tell me what I do." And I met them there and had just an amazing hike with all of these women that I've just never met before in my life. And the conversation was great, and I left feeling like I made 5 new friends. And I was like, she said that maybe you should consider doing this. She's like, you're really good. And I'm like, well, I've taught a lot of intro to geocaching classes, got the experience. And she's like, well, you can do this, but for this community and help build this community in your area. And I was just, count me in. I'm in. Sounds fun. I get to hike and I get to geocache and I get to travel. That's all I needed to hear.
So, Women Who Explore, is that a nationwide uh,
Yep.
organization?
They have groups in most U.S. states and also in Canada. Yep.
That's awesome. So, you have actually sort of blended the two communities in your
Yeah.
area now of geocaching
Yes,
and
I
Women
have
Who
taught
Explore.
4 intro to geocaching classes through Women Who Explore. Well, 5 if you count the one I did for the ambassadors. For the 25th year of geocaching, I made it my goal to teach people about geocaching, obviously. And they gave me the opportunity and the platform to teach online for their community as well as for their ambassadors and walk their ambassadors through how to also host their own intro to geocaching classes.
That's awesome. That is
So
really
far, I've
cool.
had a few bites on doing
So
those,
these
so I was pretty excited to see those.
that is awesome. when you're doing these, I imagine there's quite a few differences when you're doing them in person versus virtually. So, how have you sort of balanced that to be able to? Because it's very different being able to go and find your little fake caches in person and walk them through it versus just trying to present online.
Yep. That is where our lovely geocaching influencers, you included, come in handy. I when I taught it online, I remember using a lot of my own like Instagram videos. I did a lot of Joshua the geocaching vlogger videos,
Nice.
and kind of told them like I can't physically be there, but here's some places you can go that would be great to learn. Looks like easy, great caching, but here's some good videos to give you an idea of what you're looking for.
That's awesome. So, if people are wanting to do one of these geocaching 101 events, what kind of advice do you have for them?
Um, Try to make it bite-sized. I guess would be the easiest thing. It's really easy as somebody who loves the game to try to explain all of it in one serving, and it's not always the best option. I think keeping it simple, showing them traditional caches, teaching them the traditional way of geocaching, and then also giving your professional tips and putting it in these like bite-sized portions makes it a little easier for them to digest.
That's some great advice. There's a lot in geocaching. Like it's so in depth and there's so many different aspects to it that I could see it becoming very overwhelming and trying to do a class about it very quickly for both the presenter and the people in the class. I mean, we've all had that moment when we first started trying to geocache, and I know I felt like I was in over my head just trying to find my
Right.
first park and grab and couldn't figure it out.
Yep.
So that's some great
Let's see if I can pull
advice.
it up real quick. Yeah, it's taken a lot of practice because it's not. Of course, I get carried away. I like earth caches, so when I find a hiking friend, I'm like, "Here's all this," and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Okay, hold on, reel it back." But we keep it like I tell everybody, you only need three things to start geocaching. You need the app, you need a pen, and you need some tweezers. And they're always like, "Tweezers?" I'm like, just humor me for 3 seconds. You'll figure it out. And then once they get to that first micro, they're like, "Whoa." Like, I know, dude. Bring your tweezers.
Your tweezers, yeah. Oh, that's great. So for people who, let me rephrase this. How did you get more into hiking with geocaching?
It was through a geocaching event. um, my one of my very good friends, Angie, JNG, I was also on the women's round table. She hosted. We were doing these like monthly events in Williston just to kind of keep us going, and she said, "Let me host a hike." I'm like, "Okay." Never been hiking in my life. Had no urge to do this thing, but I'm humoring my friend, so I'm going. And we did 2 miles in the Little Missouri National Grasslands along the Madahe Trail. And by the time I got off that hiking trail, I was like, let me do that again. Like, it was beautiful, it was quiet, there were geocaches every 500 to 800 feet or every mile, and I'm like, I love this. I love finding minimal geocaches that are like epic stories and views. Like, this is it. And I just have not stopped hiking since.
Okay, so you never hiked before and then went on a 2 mile hike
Yep.
and absolutely loved it. Okay, that is wild because I can imagine for some people that being rather overwhelming when they've never hiked before.
Yep. I told my husband that too. He was just like, okay, we're hiking now. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I don't understand it either. Yeah.
That's awesome, though. I mean, the whole point of geocaching is to get outside, and it introduced you to a whole
Oh,
new
yeah.
outside
Yep.
activity that you can do independently or part
Right.
as
And my son,
geocaching.
like, I think he was 2 at the time, and he took to it too, because give that boy a snack and he'll walk with you, and then you'd be like, hey, let's stop, there's treasure. And he was focused. He would do 3 miles easily at 3 years old. He loved it.
Oh, that's
He needed a
impressive.
snack and he needed to find treasure. So, and then yeah, my husband, he's not a geocacher, but he does like a hike. So, found our happy medium.
That's nice. That can be hard for muggle geocacher couples to find
Right.
that happy medium. That's pretty awesome. You've been doing so much as part of the geocaching community. It sounds like you're having a blast
So
doing
much
it
fun.
as well.
Especially like now I'm in a new community. Like I did all of these things in Williston and then up and left to Sioux Falls where there's a huge well-established community in this region, and I usually hosted CETOs in Williston. So when I moved here I was like, well, I have to host a CETO. How else am I going to get my souvenir? So I hosted it and I had 14 people show up, and that is the largest geocaching event I've ever hosted that was not like a statewide event. I was freaking out.
Nice.
I showed up and I jumped out of my car because I did a hike. I did a hike Cedo at this little teeny tiny state preserve in Iowa. And it was like my trifecta. I got the state of Iowa that day. I got my Cedo souvenir, and I got some other souvenir. Oh, Blue Switch Day. And I showed up at this little rinky
Nice.
dink 4 car parking lot, and there were cars lining the street next to it. It was so many people. And I jumped out and I was like, hi, I'm
That's
so
awesome.
sorry. I'm your host. I'm a little overwhelmed. This is the most people I've ever had at an event before. They were just like, well, this is every day for us. Like, cool.
That's great. That's great. So, would you say in your new area, geocaching has helped you connect with new
Absolutely.
people?
I while also wrapping up everything I was doing in North Dakota, it got me excited to do things here as well. So I've not hosted as much as I want, but there's definitely some placing geocaches happening, and I'm popping up at everybody else's events. I already told them. One guy was like, "You should host more," and I was like, "I've hosted over 40 events in the last 2 years. I'm good. I'm retired. I will be attending."
There you go. Wow, that's amazing. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us about this adventure you've been on with geocaching?
I have absolutely like loved connecting with people, not just other geocachers, which is just phenomenal. I used to be this very timid person who was worried about anybody really noticing her, and in the geocaching community, like I'm not afraid anymore to just put myself out there. So it's been really nice to meet so many just amazing geocachers and friends, but it's also been fun to introduce our game to people who have no idea what it is and just like make a connection with them through geocaching. It's been awesome.
That's awesome. Now, there are so many people who are intimidated by events, either by hosting one or just attending them. What advice do you have for those
Reach
people?
out to somebody who's attending. Um, if it was not for my connection with Janji, because she's the one that threw me out there at my first event, I would not have had the guts to put myself out there the first time, much less keep coming back. So I mean, use your app and message the cache owner and just be like, hey, like I'm new, or hey, I'm worried, and let's you have a connection with somebody walking into that event. Will make you feel a lot more comfortable to have done that.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Well, Kelsey, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing your adventures with us and for spreading the word about geocaching. It's really awesome that you're doing that for the
Absolutely,
community.
it is the love of my life, and it has brought me so much in 5 years.
That's amazing. Oh.